Friends say he was a good man, but tonight police are investigating how a former mayor of Everett died. Good evening, everyone. I'm Steve Hensley.
And I'm Katie Roach. Officials say the first call to 911 was for a house fire, but it quickly turned into more once the charred remains of Ronny King were found.
We are told it is not known exactly how King died, but as WYMT's Angela Sparkman reports live from the scene in Everett, police suspect foul play. That's tonight's top story at 6.
State police are still collecting evidence inside the home here on Kelly Street. A fingerprint experts team is on the way from Frankfort to help with this investigation. State police are not releasing many details here at the scene, but say they do have enough evidence, believe that the fire and Ronny King's death are suspicious. Police are combing through Ronny King's home.
However, we can't go into any other details at this time.
Police say 59-year-old Ronny King lived alone in the home. Around 11 o'clock in the morning, a neighbor saw smoke coming from the house and called 911. Firefighters called state police when they found the body.
I'm very surprised that it's happened.
King's friends say he was well known in the Everett community. Dozens of people came to the scene to mourn his death.
He was a really good person. He would help anybody in need.
While police determine how King died, the state fire marshal is trying to determine how the fire started, but officials say it is considered suspicious.
Just based on the information the detectives have at this time, still very early in the investigation. But
neighbors say King and his acts of kindness will never be replaced in the community.
Yes, the community lost a good person.
Now they are waiting for answers. King's body is on the way to Frankfort for an autopsy to determine the exact cause of death. Live in Harlan County, I'm Angela Sparkman. Back to you.
All right, Angela.
You're watching Eastern and Southern Kentucky's #1 source for news. WYMT Mountain News at 6 starts now.
He has a lengthy criminal record in Harlan County, and tonight police say he is responsible for the murder of former Everett Mayor Ronny King. Good evening, everyone. I'm Steve Hensley.
And I'm Katie Roach. Police say 29-year-old Shelby Shell was arrested at his home in Berea earlier today. Officials say he allegedly robbed and murdered King and then set his home on fire last week. WYMT's Angela Sparkman is live outside the Harlan County Detention Center, where she just spoke with the suspect. That's tonight's top story at 6.
Shelby Shell claims he is innocent and says he was not even in Harlan County at the time of the murder last week. He does live in Berea, but he is originally from Everett and has a lot of family members that live in Everett. Police arrested Shell at his home in Berea this afternoon. They charged him with the murder of Ronny King. Police will not tell us what led them to Shell in Berea, but Shell does say that he knew King. He says that King had an apartment that the mother of his children rented from.
I knew him. I liked Ronny. I always liked Ronny. He was always good to me and stuff, you know.
this arrest comes from a week-long investigation. However, we can't go into any details what led us to Mr. Shell, except that we feel that we have enough information to charge him in the murder of Mr. King.
So what did you think when they told you you were accused of killing Ronny?
I didn't know what to think, for real. It kind of scared me and flipped me out, you know what I'm saying, for a minute, you know. I'm like, you know, I beat it, you know what I'm saying. I will beat it in court because I didn't do it, you know what I'm saying. I know I got alibis and, you know, I've got seen on tape.
Shell has a list of charges including robbery, burglary, arson, tampering with physical evidence, and the murder charge. His bond is $500,000 cash, and no court date is set yet. Live in Harlan County, I'm Angela Sparkman. Back to you.
Angela, I know you just finished this interview moments ago. Anything else that struck out, that hit you about this interview that stands out?
Shell adamantly claims he did not do this. He said that he just got out of jail in December for another crime. It says he went to Berea to kind of try to start his life over, and says that he would not kill King. He says that King was always very good to him. He says he even used to borrow money sometimes for King when he needed it to help take care of his children. But again, police say they do have enough evidence to charge him with this crime.
All right, Angela Sparkman, live outside the Harlan County Detention Center. Of course, we'll have more of our jailhouse interview coming up tonight.
Some family members of former Everett Mayor Ronny King tell us they are relieved police made an arrest in the murder case.
Yesterday, police arrested Shelby Shell in Berea. Today, King's family says they want justice for him. WYMT's Angela Sparkman has more.
Ronny King's nephews, Eddie Johnson and Jesse Farley, say King was more like a brother to them.
He was a great person, a hard-working person, a caring person, and a dedicated person.
Police say someone shot King and set his home on fire last week in Everett. Johnson and Farley say they are still in shock.
Very tough. I ain't been able to sleep since it happened, maybe a few hours, you know.
And still can't believe that someone could do that.
Monday, police arrested Everett's native, 29-year-old Shelby Shell, at his home in Berea and charged him with murder.
It's a piece that knowing that some justice has been done.
Johnson and Farley say they barely know Shell. King's family members say they cannot comment on any details about the murder case, but say they plan to seek justice for their loved one's death. But the two nephews say the arrest still does not ease the pain of losing King.
We love him dearly, and we miss him. He was a good light to us. You know, he was hard worked ever since he was young.
He was the rock of the family.
They say he can never be replaced. In Harlan County, Angela Sparkman, WYMT Mountain
Now,
News.
the brother of a Harlan County murder suspect says his brother confessed to killing former Everett's Mayor Ronny King.
Ernie Shell turned the information over to police last month, and it led to the arrest of Shelby Shell. Today, Ernie Shell talked to WYMT's Angela Sparkman about the decision.
Yes, it hurts really bad.
Ernie Shell's younger brother Shelby is in jail on murder charges. Police say he shot Ronny King and set his home on fire. Ernie says his brother confessed to him.
I didn't want to believe it at first. And, you know, it's still hard for me to still believe it. But
he then told police.
That was not moral. It was not what we wanted to do or raised to do, you know, what we've been taught all our lives against.
Ernie Shell says his brother had a hard childhood.
My brother's the person he give his shirt off his back. He could be the nicest, you know, smartest, just person that ever was, you know.
Shelby Shell spent much of his adult life in prison.
I think my brother is mentally ill.
Shelby Shell has not had a mental evaluation in the case yet, but Ernie wants one.
He had literally snapped, and that's my honest opinion. He had literally snapped. He had the mental illness had overtook him, and there was no going back.
Shelby Shell claimed last month he was innocent and blamed his brother for the arrest.
I mean, I didn't do it, you know what I'm saying? They ain't got no evidence on me, you know what I'm saying? I ain't done nothing.
I love my brother, but I'm going to defend my brother the right way. You know, first of all, I feel sorry for the family, the King family and everything, you know. Words really can't, you know, describe what's happened to, you know, both sides of the family. And
Shell wants to see his brother get help in prison. In Harlan County, Angela Sparkman, WYMT Mountain News.
2 weeks ago, the judge sent the case against Shelby Shell to the grand jury. Court officials say it has not been presented to the grand jury yet.